Renovating and decorating your first home is, as I have recently discovered, a ton of work. It's overwhelming, complicated, and expensive. But when you're splitting the work with a significant other, delegating tasks, splitting up errands, trading off who talks to which professionals, staying on the same page, and updating each other on the fly can get chaotic real quick. And when things get chaotic, details start to fall through the cracks. So how do we stay on track, you might ask? Well, I have an answer for you. We use the awesome sponsor of today's video, Notion. When we first closed on our home, we had zero organizational system. We were just winging it, checking in multiple times a day, sitting down with our bullet journals over coffee, filling notebook after notebook with lists and timelines and plans and ideas and calculations. It eventually got to be too much and the whole system fell apart. Then one day I was using Notion during my workday, as I do every single day. It suddenly occurred to me that if Notion worked so well for handling my work tasks, why couldn't I make it work for our personal projects? I've shared how I use Notion to organize and plan my YouTube content in the past, so if you want to watch that video, I'll have it linked in the description box. You can check it out after this one. But today I really wanted to share how my husband and I have been using Notion together to plan and organize our home renovation and decor projects. Notion is an all-in-one workspace, an endless digital notebook where you can take notes, manage tasks, set goals, and so much more. I can attest it's great when you're on your own, but it can be even more helpful when you're collaborating with a team or a client or your spouse on a project. And everyone always has access to the info they need. Notion also has a ridiculous number of advanced features and ways to customize to fit your needs. You can sign up for Notion for free using the link in my description box. One of my absolute favorite ways to use Notion is to modify one of their thousands of pre-built templates. I found this home renovations template by Notion Family. I'll link the original template I modified in the description box if you want to use it as well. This template had a lot of the things that we were hoping to track in our home hub, so I duplicated it and got to work customizing it for our needs. In this video, I'm going to give you a tour of our home hub, everything that we have going on in there, all the things that we have found to be helpful for tracking home renovations and decor projects in our new home. And I'll share with you some of the ways that we're using Notion day to day to stay on top of all of the projects we have going on at once. So pulling up Notion on my iPad here, this is what the home hub looks like. So at the very top of the screen, we have the cover, which you can customize. They have options that you can choose if you don't want to upload your own image, but I chose to upload this picture. We took this picture very shortly after we got the keys to our first home, so it just feels perfect to be the first picture I see every time I open this. You can also choose an icon for your page. I decided to use this adorable house emoji, but there's a bunch of options, emojis, icons, and you can even upload your own custom icon. Scrolling down, you can see the first section, which is the projects by room. So we decided to separate all of the projects we're doing by space or by room, rather than creating a new page or card for each individual smaller project. Because we're working on the entire house at once right now, this felt like the easiest way to stay organized. But if you've been in your space for a while and you're just taking on projects here and there, you might find it's easier to have a page for each project rather than for each room or space. So here we have the kitchen, PBB headquarters, both my office and my filming room, where I am right now, our dining room, bedroom, the front hall, our living room, the main bath, the powder room, the family room, the guest room, my hobby room, my husband's studio, and the ensuite. So those are all of the individual rooms in our house, and we'll also be adding a page for the backyard and another one for the exterior of the house, including the front yard and the actual outside of the house, like the roof and the windows and the siding. I decided to save the backyard to make in this video, so we'll get to that a little later. We'll come back to this and I'll show you more details of what's in each of these rooms, but for now, let's just keep scrolling down the main page here. Next up, we have the master shopping list. I have the main view set to only show things that haven't been purchased yet, so things that aren't checked off, but I also have a secondary view that just shows everything, whether we've purchased it or not. I decided to put it in this little toggle so that I could toggle it away and it wouldn't be this endless list that you just be scrolling down the page forever to get to what you were looking for. So that's a hot tip. I feel like toggles are my favorite thing in Notion. I use them all of the time. They're so convenient. I can type a bunch of unnecessary detail that I'll probably never refer to again, and then I can toggle it closed, and then I know it's there if I do ever need it, but I probably won't. But if I do, it's there, but it's not clogging up the page. Toggles are great. So this is our master shopping list here. So it's pretty self-explanatory. This is a shopping list that combines the individual shopping lists from each page. This is actually something that wasn't in the initial template that I added myself. I really wanted the shopping list to auto-populate on this main page, everything from every individual shopping list on each individual room page. So this was actually quite easy to put together. I created a new database that was the master shopping list, and then I embedded that shopping list on each individual room page. You'll see that when we get to the rooms, and just filtered it to only show one room at a time on each page. But they're all technically part of the same list, which means that they'll all stay up to date. I didn't want to overcomplicate this, so all you see on the main page is a checkbox for when it's been purchased, a basic description of the item, the store we're buying it from if we already know where we want to get it from, which room it's connected to, and then the cost if we know ahead of time what the cost is going to be. Each of these items is its own page within Notion, so you can add extra details. So if I click on one of these, I can go into the individual item itself. I can add information here if I wanted. So if I knew that it was going to be $50, I could add that when I'm within the page. And you can add extra details. So we can add some notes. We could add dimensions if we need to know that. We could add links to possible options like I did here. I really love that you can add more detail to each item if you want to, but if you don't need more information than what you can write in the item column, then you don't have to add any more. Scrolling down from the master shopping list, we come to floor plans, and I just added each floor of our house as a separate image here, so I can quickly click on it and see all the dimensions of a room if I need it there. It's super convenient to have these in the Home Hub, so I don't have to go outside of Notion to find where I've saved them somewhere else for reference. If I open Notion on my phone while I'm at the store and I just need to quickly double check the dimensions of a room before I buy something, the floor plan is right there. Moving further down here, we have the timeline. This is just a really big overview, and for ours, it's a little silly because for the most part, we started every single space on June 1st when we started working on the house, the day after we closed. But there are some rooms that we started later, like the bathrooms we didn't really tackle right away. The powder room especially, we haven't done anything on yet, so it's way off there to the side. But you'll see on each room page, again, there is a timeline, and it's a little more detailed because it's split up by the individual projects in the room instead of just work we're doing on the entire room. Moving down a little further, we have tasks. So this is a master task list for each room, and as you can see, it's a Kanban board. Y'all know I love a Kanban board, and we have a section for wish list items that we're hoping to get to eventually, but are not on the radar just yet. Things that are coming up soon, but we haven't started. Things that are in progress. Things that are on hold for whatever reason, like maybe waiting on materials. We've had to do a lot of that. And then completed items or items that don't have a status are just hidden on this view so that they don't clog everything up. Moving further down here, we have costs, and this is not complete yet. I have just started going through to add costs, mostly just because I don't want to face how much we've already spent on the house and probably how much more we'll have to spend to finish everything, but it's a start. This again is the master costs list. It has the costs from each individual room combined in one place. And again, very simple. The name of the thing, the date, if you want to put the date that you bought it. I haven't really bothered with that. The price, and then which project it's connected to. So that is the main hub. That's the main page. Anytime we open the Home Hub on our phones, on our desktop, on our iPads, this is what it looks like. And you can access anything, anywhere from here, which is great. So let me show you the individual rooms because I feel like this is where we really get into the nitty-gritty of how helpful this is. So I'm going to show you the kitchen. Again, for each room, there is a cover image. I just grabbed an image off Pinterest that I liked that kind of fit the vibe of what we're going for. But I think eventually I'll replace all these pictures with pictures of our actual house. Each of the rooms are another page, just like the Home Hub is a page. They're pages within pages, an endless digital notebook, like I said. So again, you can have a cover image, you can do an icon. I just chose a little fork and knife. Each room has a label. You can give each room a priority, which helps for sorting on the main page. And you can also set the status. You have start date and finish date. And then down here, these are the various relationships So moving down a little further, we have the general comment section for this page. And you can see my husband left a comment here 2 days ago, tagging me in it, just giving me an update. This is one of the ways that we use Notion and specifically our Home Hub on a day-to-day basis to communicate with each other. And it's great because not only can we tag each other, so we'll be notified that there's a comment and we can see what the update is, which we could do by texting each other or calling each other or telling each other over dinner. But the best thing about it is that it stays there. So the next time I open the kitchen page and I start scrolling down, I'll see the comment again, which is wonderful because otherwise, if Jason just told me over dinner, I'd probably forget. And I might ask him again and he'd say, I already told you. And I'd be like, no, you didn't. I don't remember that. But that doesn't even happen because it's here. Love it. Scrolling past the general comment section, we have the jobs. So these are the individual renovation tasks sorted by room. So this is just the tasks for the kitchen. And I also have it showing just the tasks that are in progress or not started. And I love how this is set up. So you can give each task a priority number just to order them. You can name it. Again, each task is its own page. So you can add a bunch more details if you wanted to down here. You can give it a status. You can give it a date range or a specific date that it's going to be done. You can also assign it to a person, which is really cool. Moving down a little further, we have a couple toggles. Yet again, my favorite thing in Notion, toggles. They're the best. Again, I love this because you can just keep scrolling by really quickly if you don't need any of those things and they don't take up a bunch of space. But if you do want them, you can expand them and it's all there. So the first section is for a brain dump, just literally what it sounds like, a brain dump for anything related to that room. Next up is the shopping list. And again, this is connected to the master shopping list on the main page, but this has been filtered to only show items that are related to the kitchen. Again, the first view is things that haven't been purchased and the second view is just everything, including things that have already been picked up. Again, I'm proud of myself for figuring out how to do this. I sometimes get intimidated by Notion because it can do so many things. It's a very powerful tool, but there are so many tutorials out there. There's so many helpful articles and things. And I literally went from not knowing if it was possible to do what I wanted to do to having it finished in like 15 minutes. So don't be intimidated. It's also super easy to add something new to the shopping list. You just tap the plus sign, new, and you can add whatever you want. A drawer organizer. I do actually want to get another drawer organizer for our spices. Don't know how much it'll cost. I'm gonna look at Home Depot and see if they have it. So I'll tag it Home Depot. And now you can see drawer organizer spices is right there. And as an example, just say I just bought it and it cost $20. So I add the cost here and I can check it off and now it disappears off my to buy section of the shopping list. Super easy. The next section underneath that is the mood board. And this is just a nice little gallery where you can include images that inspire you. So these are a couple that sort of inspired the vibe that we were going for with our kitchen. Green cabinets, butcher's block counters, a little bit of a vintage style, I would say. We love texture on the walls, natural wood. Black hardware we also really like. And again, it's super easy to add more to the mood board. Just add new. You can give it a title, whatever you want. And then down here, you can just add an image and it can be whatever you want. You can upload a file or embed a link or pick something from Upsplash if you wanted to. Not relevant, but you know, it works. Moving down past the mood board, we have the timeline. So this is a timeline specifically for the kitchen. So it's showing all of the tasks from the renovation task on a timeline based on the dates that we inserted up there. So this is really great just to be able to see what's being done when, how things are overlapping. If you're a visual person like me, this will be really helpful for you because sometimes if I'm just looking at a list of different things that have to be done, even if they have the dates next to them, it doesn't really help me figure out where in time everything is. I need that sort of visual map. So this helps me a lot. Moving down to the bottom of the page, the last two things included on each room are the costs and the before and after pics. So the costs on the left here, similar to the master cost list on the main page. This is just specifically items that are kitchen related. And then on the right, the before and after pics. So right now we just have before pictures, but you can click on it and see the before of the kitchen. This is one of the listing photos. So this is how it was set up by the former owner of our house. And let me tell you, our kitchen looks completely different already. It's kind of wild to look at what it used to look like. Each room has all of this information included in it, which is amazing. We can keep on top of every single project we're working on in that room, and either of us can add something to any section anytime. So if Jason's on his lunch break at work and he checks his phone and he gets a targeted ad on Instagram and the picture is like exactly what he was envisioning for his studio, he can take a screenshot of that, go into the studio page, go into the mood board, and create a new page with that image so that he doesn't lose it in his screenshots on his phone. It's so easy to immediately sort things where they go and keep on top of everything. Same thing if one of us is doing errands and we pop into Home Depot, we can quickly pull out our phones, open Notion, check the Home Hub, look at the master shopping list, see if there are any items that need to be picked up that are listed as Home Depot, and we can get everything while we're there instead of having to do multiple trips. It's amazing. So now what I want to do is add a new room so you can see the process of that. I'm going to duplicate one of the rooms to do this just so that I don't have to start from scratch. You can also turn a page into a template to make it easier. I'm going to duplicate this front hall page to make our backyard page. So I open it, tap the three dots in the upper right hand corner, and I can duplicate it right there. So this is now a duplicate of front hall, and I'm going to change it to be our backyard. So I'm going to start with the cover here, change the cover, and I'm going to upload something. You can reposition the cover as you like, but that's fine for me. Pick an icon. I'm going to pick something outdoorsy. Maybe I'll find a tree emoji. We do have quite a few trees in our backyard, so I'll pick that one. I'll rename it the backyard. I'll also give it the backyard tag. Priority on the backyard is pretty low right now. And the status, I'll say it's current, but it's only sort of current. So moving further down here, renovation tasks. I'm going to add one here as an example. This is going to be removing trees. Unfortunately, we have some baby trees that are going to have to be removed. They're growing way too close to the house, so the roots are a risk of cracking the foundation. So this is something that is not started yet, but definitely a priority here. I'm going to give it number one task order. Now we can see removing the trees, and it's right there. Brain dump section, adding greenhouse there. We would love to have a greenhouse. Raised planters, we would also love to do that eventually. Fresh grass, or possibly another ground cover. Moving down to the shopping list. Right now we don't have anything. We already bought a lawnmower, but I'll add it here just for fun. Now we have the lawnmower there, but I'm going to check it off. And I'm going to add a new filter. Right now it has projects by room for the backyard specifically, but I'm also going to add a filter unchecked, so it'll only show things that we haven't purchased yet. Moving down to the mood board, right now we don't have anything in our mood board. I'm just going to add a new one, and I think I'm just going to add the same picture I used as the cover image because I really love that greenhouse, and it's kind of pretty much exactly the vibe I would love for our backyard. Super green and lush, and a beautiful glass greenhouse to grow vegetables and such. I didn't give removing trees a timeline, but let me do that. I'll do a start date of maybe next week, and I'll do an end date of mid-November-ish, so we can hopefully do it before there's too much snow. So now when I scroll down, if I go this way, you'll be able to see removing trees. So that's today. And then we can see the block of time for removing trees on the timeline there. Moving further down, renovation costs. Don't have any of those figures on hand right now, but Jason and I have a plan to sit down probably next weekend to just go through all of our receipts and invoices and add in all of the costs to everything just so that it's fully updated. And then here, before and after pictures, I am going to remove this from the backyard since it was connected there. So now it should only be in the front hall. And I'm again going to use one of the images from the listing just because I think those really show the biggest difference, what it looked like when the former owner lived there. So this was the backyard before. It's going to look real different when we're done with it. Well, not really different. I mean, we're going to keep as many of the mature trees as we can, but things are a bit different. So now we have our backyard page all set up, ready to go. Everything is connected. So that's how you add a space. Super simple. And it's just been so helpful. I can't even describe how much of an upgrade using Notion has been over our scattered notebooks and notes in our individual bullet journals and emails and texts to each other and notes scribbled on the back of an invoice. It's very calming for my mind to have everything in one place. And my husband's totally on board. He loves it. He is now talking about wanting to incorporate Notion at his work for his team. So we're just becoming a Notion family here, and I am fine with it. So again, thank you to Notion for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to get Notion for free with the link in my description box. I am such a huge fan of Notion. I was using Notion long before they ever sponsored me. I will be using them long after. I cannot recommend them more. If you're a fan of bullet journaling, which I imagine you might be if you're here on my channel, you will love Notion. It's so versatile. It can be used for just about anything. And I am so ridiculously excited about how our home hub has come together. I can't wait to keep using it for all of our renovation projects. And then once we eventually finish all those, if that day ever comes, to shift to focusing more on decor projects and maybe smaller projects like building a built-in bookshelf in the space behind me or making a greenhouse for the backyard and things like that. So I'm sure that my home hub will come up in future home related videos, but I really wanted to share this whole system with you because it has been a lifesaver already and I'm just so excited to keep using it. So hopefully this video was interesting for you and helpful if you're looking for a similar solution to organize a home renovation or home decor projects. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below and I'll do my best to answer. Again, I'll link the original template in the description box if you want to build your own home hub from the same base. Thank you as always to my patrons for your support. Extra special thanks to our newest patrons, Indiana, Libby, Debbie, Tina, Trisha, Victoria, Amanda, Lauren, Ina, Megan, Abby, Yvonne, Allie, Jody, Jessica, Sakura, Jennifer, Joey, Kendall, Kaylee, Kate, Melanie, Felicia, Cassandra, Adrienne, Jade, Allison, Lynn, and Kala. Welcome all of you to the squad. We are so excited to have you. If you at home want to join the squad, feel free. There's a link in the card and in the description box down below. And I think that's it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you really soon in my next one. Bye, friends.